Welcome to the Harness Racing Alumni Show. I'm Freddie Hudson. I'm here with Trade Martin and Bob Marks.
The Harness Racing Alumni Show with your hosts, Freddie Hudson and Trade Martin.
Joining us today is standardbred owner and breeder, Don Tiger. Don, welcome back to the Harness Racing Alumni Show.
Great to be with you guys. Things are heating up. It's early June. We got 2-year-olds starting to come out. Fun time of the year for harness racing for sure, and just a good time for racing in general.
Don, what is the latest on the Charlie May saga?
Yeah, Charlie May saga. We're back. We filed some stuff in the last couple weeks. I mean, I hate to use this case, justifying Ruiz out in California, but that took like 7 years to adjudicate. I'm not saying that's how long this is or is not going to take, but I mean, there's a lot of moving parts. Obviously, we did win in a court of law. I think that's very important to discuss. Is that we had a judge listen to all the evidence and he ruled in our favor. Obviously, the New Jersey Racing Commission very stingy and does not want to acknowledge that result. So it's a battle that will continue. But we have recently done some stuff, and again, they're oblivious to what's happening. Also, they're starting to. The commission seems to be getting a little more involved with some of the nefarious activity that stemmed from the March of 2020 indictments. There's been some more people that have got recently sanctioned / banned from the industry, fined, and believe it or not, that does tie in indirectly because there was a lot of people that were indirectly or directly involved with the case that either have been removed from office or there is incriminating evidence against them. So we'll see how it plays out, but I mean it's still full speed ahead. And again, recently we just did some stuff. So,
are you on the state level in this litigation or the federal level now?
That's a good question. I don't know. My counsel kind of is always looking at different things that involve this. I believe that we're still trying to stay to the state level. However, the federal level is obviously on the plate too. I think it's like a chess match, to be frank. I think, we move a piece, they move a piece, we move a piece, and obviously we want to put them in check and then possibly mate. Still a long battle. I mean, again, I'm not expecting anything this year. I would expect there'll continue to be dialogue, and we'll just keep pushing forward. But it's in the rearview mirror per se. But it'll just like the Ruiz case and Justify. I think that was 2018. I think that thing got adjudicated last year. It eventually, the court systems, no matter how you play it, whether it's Fed, state, appellate, they have to at some point in time come back and do something to finish the case off. So we'll see. We'll take it day by day and see. But I mean, again, nothing's changed. The facts of the case haven't changed, which is great. So now it's just a matter of how we adjudicate it and when we adjudicate it. That's always been my goal, as you know, just to win the race, not even necessarily the purse. Is just to be acknowledged as the winner of that race. So. We'll see. I mean, we're just going to keep pushing forward, and unfortunately or fortunately, I have to let counsel do what they have to do, and kind of go from there.
How much money have you sunk into this now in the litigation?
The good news is it's been very light the last couple of years, mainly just filing fees and stuff, because I've had some really good people working on my case that have done it pro bono. And, for basically contingencies. So it's been great. But, so that's the good part. I haven't been reaching in my pocket of late, but I mean, the early years, 21 and 22, I mean, we're talking excess of 6 figures, Right. But I had to do it and had to keep doing it because it's not even just as much for me or the horse. It's more for the industry. I mean, we talk about this privately and obviously me, you and Bob talk about this a lot. The industry is in a bad place. And, it's self-inflicted. So I think they're making some positive steps. I think it might be too late, but I mean, the big thing that you have to understand out there's a lot of money that does come from horse racing, but there's also a lot of money from the states and the casinos that go into horse racing. and you're constantly battling, bureaucrats who looked that they could proportion that money from state level. Like in my state, Pennsylvania, for years, the governor and they've tried to move that money into education, schooling, housing, road infrastructure, whatever. And, they've been thwarted a couple times. But sooner or later, if you've got an industry that has all the problems we do that can't kind of, adjudicate itself, I mean, I do see at some point in time them losing funding. Look at Florida with the decoupling. They used to race dogs down there. Now they have no dogs. Now they're down to one thoroughbred track. And, that could go away. And, I mean, that's a big thoroughbred track with a big winter meet. So I don't know. But I don't think it's safe. Anybody in racing should not feel safe. And, if and when it happens, it'll continue to have a domino effect. So I guess we'll just see what happens. But one of the things I think I've tried to do is let's clean it up. Let's get the bad apples out of the industry. Let's start to set up rules on all levels and let everybody play on the same playing field. That's all.
Yeah. Now, let's talk about your stable a little bit now. What's your stable consist of now, breeding-wise and racing-wise?
Yeah, I only own the broodmare, so I breed her back every year, and I get a baby every year, and that's my stable. I don't have any horses outside of her, and she throws a baby every year. Obviously, the two horses I still have in training are Charlie May and Shane Falco, both doing extremely well. Some bad luck of late, which we'll get into in a little bit, but they're doing well. But really excited. I have a 2-year-old pacing colt named Mickey May. Ironically, I named him kind of after Charlie May. I said, well, it's an always be Mickey, so I named it Mickey May, which is Pennsylvania bred, which steps out of my comfort level a little bit. I've pretty much bred all these horses to Ohio bred stallions because I love racing in Ohio. But the report cards are amazing on him. We're very excited. I'm not sure he's the next Charlie May or the next Shane Falco, but we're going to see. But he's exciting. And those are the only 3 horses I have in training. I do have a Down by the Seaside on the ground. And let's see what else we have down on the ground. We have I'm drawing a blank, but there was another horse, a Ohio bred stallion that we bred to last year that I have a colt from too. So I got a couple on the ground. And we're back in full to Monty Mickey. So some exciting stuff as far as that goes. Yep. Okay.
Now, you had that Pelican Al. Whatever happened to him?
Yeah, I don't know. He didn't make the races. I did sell him as a yearling for, I think, $105,000, something like that. And I was real excited about him because I named him after my friend Al Mezes, who passed away from COVID. I almost thought about keeping the horse, but just some very nice breeding with the Down by the Seaside. And the stable CA bought the horse, never really. I got some report cards, and I know he had some gait problems, and then really haven't followed up with him, but he's never qualified, never made the races. So very unfortunate because he was a good-looking individual too. So.
Yeah. So now you just have Shane Falco and Charlie May racing. Shane Falco, he's racing in Kentucky?
No, I just moved him up to Ohio. I have a guy, Terry DeSico, working for me now. Terry's phenomenal. He came up under Hervé. He was a New York guy, and he moved to Kentucky. And more of a hands-on guy, small stable, 3 to 5 horses. That's exactly what I like. I like somebody that's very hands-on. And he went down to Kentucky. And when we, I sent Charlie May out for the Borgata series, got a lot of checks over there, but wasn't successful in the whole series. And we ended up bringing him back home. And when I was getting ready to bring him back home, I kind of talked to Terry about it because it was one of those things I had to kind of do quickly to get ready for the Battle of Lake Erie. And he wanted to take on the task. And I said, man, that's great. And he says, how about if I move to Ohio? So he packed up his bags. He's moved him and his wife up to Ohio, and couldn't be happier. He only has 3-4 head. He wants to keep his numbers down like that so we can concentrate on the horses. And just a phenomenal situation. And, so far so good. I mean, I like where both horses are sitting. But, yeah, Shane qualified last week in 55 flat over at Scioto. And then he got sick a couple of days after the race. He since has bounced out of it, so I'll probably be entering him this week for Northfield. He fits a nice condition race up Northfield. And same sickness. We had a sickness in the barn. Charlie, he caught sick, but he's doing well now too, and probably enter him for an overnight at Scioto. And then looking to get back to New Jersey for hopefully the Brower and the Houghton, if it all works out.
Okay. And so what else is on the schedule?
Well, I have the same schedule as last year, pretty much for Charlie. It's easy because there's a lot of good Ohio-bred races here. And, it's basically for anybody, because I do get a lot of calls. People call, text all the time, when am I going to see him? He's still a big fan favorite, which I'm going to get into in a second because there's a real cool story to talk about the fan favorite. But I would say it's a mirror schedule. The only thing that was really weird that got derailed is there's a few races that I really just pick out every year that mean a lot to me. One of those is the Battle of Lake Erie. And I had him out east, and, I had been in talk with Dave Bianconi a couple times, and I had a spot. He goes, oh, yeah, you're good. And, after the Borgata series, I did the right thing. We raced 6 weeks in a row with Charlie. I just gave him a week out in the field, let him grass, let him get, his legs under him. And then also I even sent him up just to the clinic where he swims and takes it easy for a couple of days. And then I brought him back to Ohio, and, Dave called and said, you still good for the battle? I said, oh, yeah, I'm still good for the battle. I'm going to get a tune-up race in on Saturday, and then we'll be up the following Saturday. So I was pretty excited. And, I talked to Brett Miller. He wanted to go drive him in the battle, which ironically, Brett did win the battle on a different horse, so good for him. Congrats. But, I went out and I raced in the battle, and I raced in the overnight. I told Dave we were good to go, and I got a text that said I was disinvited. So that really was kind of a gut punch, because I'm like, how do you get disinvited from something? I mean, no call, no explanation, no nothing. And this kind of tells you about how the sport is. Us on the panel, a bunch of us, we all know racing, highs and lows. I mean, you get horses get sick, quarter cracks, bad post draws. Like, it's a game that there's a lot of highs and a lot of lows, and so we're hitting a real low. Hey, we came home specifically for the battle because I was invited to the Camluck Classic. I passed. I said, no, I'm going to the battle. I was probably going to get an invite over to the Auger or the undercard over there, and I passed on that just to get him home. And then your home kind of town, turns their back on you. I know the horses' lines weren't great, but what Dave did was unacceptable. I mean, it's his ball, his rules, so he can do what he wants. But again, the only reason I'm prefacing this is because, like anything, I kind of stepped backwards, got a little kick in the mouth. So this is how the Lord works in very mysterious ways. I'm at work on Monday, and I get this email. Very important. I get this email from Amy May. So this Amy May reaches out to me, and she says, hey, I'm not looking for, any financial planning in the house. I just want to let you know that me and my husband, every year we go to the Meadowlands Pace, kind of like their date night. And I found out these folks live in Freehold, New Jersey. So they bet on Charlie May and the Pace, and they won, and then they lost. And it was tough. It was very hard. So then they keep going back every year, and in 2023, they were back there, obviously, same post position, same bet. They bet Charlie May again, and that's when he upset on the Meadowlands Pace undercard. And I don't even know what he paid. I think he paid $68 or something like that. And they got married that year in 2023, but they were having massive problems getting pregnant. They had a lot of fertility problems. So when Charlie May won the Houghton, these folks, they even in the email here sent this to me, said that they gave us hope. And it said, hey, here's somebody that came back. So, this is the exact word. They felt Charlie May was an inspiration to keep pushing forward to becoming our parents, to becoming our goal of being parents. Their daughter was born last June, so June of 24, and they named the daughter Charlie May. So what a heartwarming story. And I reached out to this young lady because she gave me her phone number. And again, I'm a guy who played sports in college and high school, minor league baseball. I've had a lot of fun, and I consider myself kind of a hard, tough guy at times. And I'm just crying listening to this story, but talking to this young couple from Freehold, New Jersey, and then seeing pictures and having the perseverance to name a horse like Charlie May. And where the irony comes in this whole story is me and my wife had extreme fertility problems to try to get pregnant. And anyone that knows the real backstory with Charlie May, Stipple Hanover, when we first tried to get her pregnant the first time to I'm blanking even on the stallion that Charlie's sire is. But we tried, and we were down to it was June, and they were not doing any more collections. And I kept saying, like to the breeder, he's like, we're just gonna, we got to get rid of this horse. We can't breed this horse anymore. And I'm like, we got to do something. And we did a live cover, the very last cover of McCardle. We got overnighted, and Charlie May got pregnant. So, I mean, for Charlie May to have fertility problems, me and my wife to have fertility problems, and the Mays to have fertility problems, kind of brings us all together. And I think the really cool part for me is this is something where, Charlie May might race 6 months, 2 years, 4 years, and he's going to retire. But this young little girl's going to be growing up and having a big life, and it's always going to be a remembrance of him. And, man, I think that's super cool, but really cool story.
Yeah, Don, was that the favorite fan story?
Yes, that's exactly what it is. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought so.
I mean, it's just it's like I said, these are folks that don't go to the track on a daily basis. That's their date night, kind of like, there's certain people like me. I always go to the Breeders' Cup for thoroughbred racing. It's just something I do, whether, it's in California or Kentucky. I just go, and it's kind of like a family thing. A lot of us, friends and family always go. We get a box, and so it's what these folks do. They've been going to the Meadowlands Pace night for a date night for, ever, and now they're married, and now they have a little baby. But to say that Charlie May was an inspiration because of what happened to him, and then how he, basically, I don't want to say reversed fortunes. A lot of people always believe that him winning the Houghton was kind of like, karma, divine intervention, however you call it. Cool, but to hear a story like that, especially when you're starting to be one of those lows, you get left out of the Battle of Lake Erie, and you're thinking, man, this stinks. I had a race, I planned all this stuff, and all of a sudden you get picked right back up, and you're back up in the sky with the clouds, and you realize that the good Lord's connecting people. Just really cool. That's all I can tell you.
Yeah. Don, did you have anything else that you wanted to add?
No, I think that's good. It's good catching up with you guys. It's been a while. I mean, obviously, I hope that some of this stuff, the commission start to clean house, start to take a little bit better care of what's going on. Because, again, horse racing's anywhere between 14 to 18% takeouts. If you go make a bet on a sporting event like the Oilers and Panther series, or you're playing 10% takeout. So they're up against it. People want to pull one-arm bandit slot machines. Horse racing just isn't. Some of the statistics, if you just eyeball it, are starting to go negative again as far as handles go. Outside of the big days with like the Belmont and Kentucky Derby, but I mean, if you look at the statistics, even on the USTA website, it looks like it's negative, and it'll continue that trend unless we get a better product. So. Hopefully some people that are listening to this taking some heed that there's a lot of good stories like the Charlie May story out there, and maybe people can start to fix things to get it going in the right direction.
Well, with that, I'm going to close the show out. I want to thank you so much for joining us today.
My pleasure. Always good to talk to you guys.
Okay, that's a wrap for this week's show. Thanks for listening, and please don't forget to join us again next week.
The Harness Racing Alumni Show